The audio you're about to hear was recorded in Anchor. Learn more at anchor.fm.
What's up, Anchor? This is Mark. I took an active shooter training the other day with local law enforcement, and although I do give the class myself, they touched on a couple things that I think is important. So I just kind of wanted to talk about active shooter. First of all, if you have, wherever you guys work, wherever you guys, are employed, they should provide some type of active shooter training. If they don't, go on YouTube, punch in active shooter training or something like that, and there's any one of those videos that would be helpful. But one of the things that they tell you basically is the three things: run, hide, and fight. Those are the three things. So they talk about running, avoiding the gunfire, hiding if you're unable to avoid the gunfire, and fight if that's your last resort. That's basically the way it is. But all too often, this is something that law enforcement brought up, which even me, when I'm giving the training myself, when I give this active shooter training, I kind of forget. It doesn't have to be that linear, meaning just because they talk about running first, hiding, and then fighting, that doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to do verbatim, It basically, the proximity of the threat is going to dictate how you're going to respond to an active shooter situation. So, example would be if an active shooter situation breaks out, in another building, down the hall, and you're able to run and get to an exit and run to safety, that's the first thing you're going to do. But if it's in close proximity and you're not able to avoid the gunfire, or you're going to be in the line of sight of the active shooter, then obviously you're going to lock the door, barricade it if you can, secure the door, call 911, contact 911, put your cell phone on vibrate, and hide if they're if you're in their line of sight. But if you're sitting in your office and active shooter comes into the room, you're going to fight. So that's one thing that they brought up. I mean, you're going to get the same training no matter what, whether you go on YouTube, whether your facility gives you that training, whether you go to a class and have an active shooter awareness training, workplace violence awareness. They call it all kinds of different things. And I just would encourage you to go back to your employer and say, look, you guys should have some type of training for the employees here regarding active shooter. You should have something in place. But if you don't, go on YouTube. They're usually like 2-minute long, 3-minute long videos where you can just look at it. But my message to you is, when you apply these techniques, again, it doesn't have to be a complicated plan to exit your facility. Run, hide, fight. That's it. It's not complicated. But apply them as necessary, depending on where the proximity of the threat is. So I just wanted to get that out there because I just took the active shooter training the other day with 2 different municipalities, which was great, and to get that perspective and what they're looking for and how they respond. So that was great. And I'll probably do another podcast about that later on in the future. I hope this was helpful. You can read my blog at hightechrefuge.com, or those of you in the New Jersey area looking for guard training, New Jersey guard training, looking for your SORA license, you go to carvajalsora.com. You can follow me on Twitter, carvmark169. We're also on Instagram and Snapchat now. All right. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
The audio you just heard was recorded in Anchor. Learn more at anchor.fm.